Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency Show. Now, here's the thing. Just had a big drop in price of Bitcoin. 20% in one day. Pow! Well, you know what? You know what this is all about? Bitcoin just moved up too fast, too quick, in too short a frame of time. And like I've been telling you guys about this, is people have to get their head around the new price. Also, there's another factor involved. Whales can actually use Bitcoin as a pump and dump. They can try to make money that way. And, I mean, why not? It's like the Wild West out there with cryptocurrencies. You know? They can pump it up one side, buy in fairly cheap. The whale's been buying in back when it was 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. And they drive it up. And then they pull the gears out from underneath it. And then they buy in back in at a lower price. They know when they're going to drop the hammer. And that way they sell, they get top dollar. Right? And they leave all of us because they start buying in back 5, 6, 7,000. Is what they do. And then they let you guys and all of us buy in too. And we add our money into the pool, and we take it all the way up to 13,800. And then they know the exact timing. Pow! They sell those coins that they bought 5,000, 6,000. And they get 13,800. Right? The price drops down. They drop it down as low as they can get it, and then they buy those exact same coins back again. Or maybe a few more. After the price drops back down to 10,000. And then they collect the profits. You know, they pumping and dumping the market. And the thing is then they got their coins back, and they got a tidy little 30% or 40% even. If they bought in, say, at 5,000, and it went up to 13,800, you know, and then they buy back in at 10,000, you know, they make a tidy little profit of 20, 30%, something like that. And I mean, then they just rinse, wash, repeat. You know, but they know when they're going to dump, so they know they can get the top dollar. By the time, I mean, the market moves so fast. If the average guy like us tries to do it, you know, we're going to be buying in when it's not 5,000 or 6,000. We're going to be buying in when it's 9, 10, 11, 12,000. And there's no profit to be made from buying in at 11,000 or 10,000, and then the price drops back down to 10,000. I mean, you can try to buy. There's no profit ratio there. They got to get their profit ratio off of knowing the market, knowing when it's going to drop, because they're doing it. I mean, a bunch of crooks. Anyway, let's get the charts open right here. You know, these crooks that do this kind of stuff, you know, they've been playing these markets their whole life, and they know exactly how to time. This is why they're rich, you know. I mean, it's not just Bitcoin, you know. They make money on both ends. They're doing the same thing. Listen, a big time is going on with gold and silver too. The manipulation of the price downwards, you know, over a period of time. Anyway, we're looking at a price today of $11,294.84 right now. Now, I think she's in the process of bouncing back. Let me just refresh the page. 11,294, 11,274. It's kind of holding in around this area of $11,200. We're going to have to wait and see if this price correction. And I'm going to tell you what, guys. What we got going on right now is a price correction. But it's not cutting as deep as you would think, you know. Now, you know, these markets, Bitcoin, you get used to them after a while. They're like a sped-up version of the other markets. If the other markets are going along at, say it's like a car on the highway going along 5 miles an hour, Bitcoin's a Lamborghini going at 160 miles an hour down the freeway. So it's like a compressed version of the other markets, but it moves the same way. It moves up with the market, like, say the Dow Jones. Say the Dow Jones were to go up multiple days, 300 points a day, for like 6 days in a row. Okay? What do you expect's going to happen? Well, you're going to get an off day. You just can't say the Dow Jones gains 1,000 points. She's primed then to drop 300 or 400 points. You know? And then continue back on to its merry way again. And this is doing the exact same thing. It went up too quick, too fast. She's dropped off. We've got these guys profit taken. And soon it'll end. And soon the market will start to go back into its regular cycle again, which is bullish. So don't worry about this. This is just a little price correction in the center of a bull. This is still a bull market. Bitcoin entered back into being a bull market again. And we're just undergoing a price correction because the price went up too quick. So it's no real big deal, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't let it shake you too much, you know. Just look at it as a buying opportunity right now. And I think this buying opportunity is coming to a close pretty quick, though. $317 billion worth of market cap right now. We got a couple articles here. Bitcoin plummets 20%. Analysts believe a bounce at 9,100 would be mega bullish. Well, you know, what if we have a bounce at 10,000? Because that's what it worked out to be. Would that be mega bullish too? I think that might be even more mega bullish, wouldn't it be? We had a bounce at 10,000. And let's take a look here. Bitcoin enters a critical bearish level. A break below 10,000 could take Bitcoin down to 7,000. Crash. I think this guy's overly optimistic, and I think this guy wants to buy a few coins. He wants to buy them on the cheap. So he's kind of praying it'll go down to 7,000. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. I don't think you're going to see Bitcoin go down to 7,000. I don't even think it's going to go down to 7,000 after it crashes the next time. When it goes up this big mountain, maybe, I don't know, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, heck, even 100,000. And then it crashes. It'll probably lose 90% of its value when it crashes. But if it goes up to $100,000 and it loses 90% of its value, he'll still not see 7,000 Bitcoin. It'd still be $10,000 Bitcoin. So he's waiting for his $7,000 Bitcoin. He might be waiting quite a long time. You know, this guy here. It says, in the past few days, cryptocurrency prices have made considerable gains, which have led everyone to believe that the bull run has resumed. The pace setter, Bitcoin, have also seen to have broken the resistance level of $10,000. However, in the past 24 hours, markets is noticed to have taken a sudden turnaround, with top cryptos recording double-digit losses. Though this is expected to happen as the crypto space longs for a correction after many days of incredible gains at top speed, it seems no one expected it would be of this magnitude. Well, yeah, I expected probably this is kind of a weak crash, you know, or not really a crash, but a correction. This is kind of weak, to tell you the truth, you know, dropping from, because it went up so high, so fast. Get it in perspective. Drop down to 10K. Now it's bounced back to 11.2, you know, and over the next few weeks it'll probably go right back up to where it was at 13.8 and crash right through 13.8 and continue higher. That's probably what it'll do, you know. That's the most likely outcome to this. That over the next few weeks we'll see it slowly heat back up again and pass the $13,800 level that it crashed at before. But next time it passes it, it'll have that, it'll be more, it'd be more stable than it was this time. This time it just went up too fast, too quick, and too short a time frame to stay and hold what it had done. You know what I mean? And that's why we got this little correction. So listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, you know. And I'm going to keep you guys on top of the cryptocurrency space and what's happening with Bitcoin. I see this bull market lasting until the first quarter of 2019. I think we're going to get our big crash, the real crash. This is not a crash. But the real crash is going to be after the first quarter of 2019. This is where I'm predicting the real crash. And it's going to be an amazing crash. It's going to be really probably the biggest crash Bitcoin's ever had. But it's probably going to crash down from... I can't get 60,000 out of my mind. I keep thinking that. I don't know why. Maybe it's... I don't know. But that's what I think to myself. I think 60,000. But maybe it'll do like these other guys say, go to 100,000 or 200,000. But I just can't quite conceive of it going that high. But I can easily see it going up to 60,000 before this next crash. And I think this next crash is going to be a mega crash. So you got to have a strategy, guys. You got to have a strategy. You don't want to be in Bitcoin right now at $10,000. Bitcoin's worth $10,000. Ride this next wave all the way up to $60,000. Hang on to your Bitcoin and have it go all the way back to $10,000 again. And sit around waiting here for almost 2 years while it does this. And your Bitcoin's worth $10,000 now, and 2 years from now it's worth about the same, $10,000, when we're at the bottom of the next crash. You don't want to do that. You know? Because you've wasted a golden opportunity. Your golden opportunity is going to come in you buying in low at like where it was 3, 4, 5,000, where a lot of you guys bought in, riding it all the way up to 60,000, have it start to break down a little bit. Bitcoin starts to, you see the crash. The crash starts. Like say it goes up to $60,000, and say the crash starts. And you see Bitcoin drop back down to, I don't know, 52,000 or something like that. It'll always bounce. Bounces, it never goes quite back up to its peak. Say the peak was 60,000, it drops down to say 52,000 or something, and it'll say it bounces back to 55,000. When it's at 55,000, that's your time to get out. That's your dead cat bounce. Sell on that dead cat bounce. That's the time to get out. Because it's still really high, you know, still really high. And then when the dead cat bounces over, then the bottom drops out of her. She does the same thing every time. Go back and look at the previous crashes. That's the time to get out. You see, you'll never be able to predict that top. Say the top is 60,000. Well, you know, I'm just using that as an illustration. Say the top 60,000. But say you decide to sell, and this gets up to 60,000, and you guys decide to sell because you heard me say $60,000, right? So you wait for 60,000. Gets to 60,000, you sell all your Bitcoins. Wow, you're big and happy and everything. Glenn said it was going to 60,000. What if it goes to 80 or 100? You just sold it and lost half your money. You know? Well, if it goes to 60,000, the top of the dead cat bounce would probably be 55,000. But if it goes to 80,000, the top of the dead cat bounce would probably be about 75 or 73,000, something like that. Well, that's higher than 60,000. So you hit it. You're going to be able to hit it better if you sell on that dead cat bounce. That's the place. That's my strategy anyway. And then what you do is anyway. The thing is you don't want to ride it all the way back down to zero again. Not zero, but back down to the bottom of the next crash. Because, seriously, the bottom of this crash was about $3,000. The bottom of the next crash is probably going to be about 10 or 20,000. Right? It's going to be exponentially higher than the bottom of this crash, this last crash. Right? But each subsequent crash, until finally Bitcoin doesn't crash. When Bitcoin doesn't crash anymore, then it's made it. And it's taken the place of the dollar at that point. But I'm almost absolutely sure we got one more crash in us. This next one. Not sure if the one after that's going to happen or not. We might have 2 more. I'm almost certain we got 1 more. We might have 2 more. But we might not, depending on how quick the dollar collapses. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye.